Hello, it's Kyle. Happy Halloween, everyone. We all know Halloween is a great time for kids to have fun, put on costumes, and go get some candy when they're trick-or-treating. But Halloween is not just for kids. Adults can have fun too. And that could be putting on a costume, going to a party, or something simple like watching a movie, or playing a game, or reading a spooky story. So today we're going to read a spooky story together and learn some English, or practice some English at least. So today we're going to learn the story, The Red Ribbon. Now don't worry, it's not super scary, just a little bit spooky. Spooky means scary and fun together. So we're going to look at a spooky story, The Red Ribbon. So let's get started. But first, I need to take this off. It's way too hot. Oh, my hair. Oh my gosh. So let's take a look at The Red Ribbon. Are you ready? Bill whistled a jazzy tune. Tonight's the night, he thought. He strolled through Central Park on his way to meet Sally, his best girl. So Bill whistled a jazzy tune. To whistle means do this. And what is he whistling? A jazzy tune. A tune is another word for a song. And it's jazzy. Jazzy means it's like jazz music. So he whistled a jazzy tune. So he's feeling pretty good. Tonight's the night, he thought. He strolled through Central Park on his way to meet Sally. Strolled means to walk. And it's not just walk, it's a happy, comfortable, relaxing walk. So go for a stroll is a very common phrase. He strolled through Central Park in New York City on his way to meet Sally, his best girl. His best girl is an old-fashioned way to say his girlfriend. So he's going to meet his girlfriend, Sally. There was still snow on the ground, but Bill could smell spring in the air. He jingled the engagement ring in his pocket. A June wedding would be just right. So it's turning to spring. He could smell spring in the air. Smells like spring. And he jingled the engagement ring in his pocket. So to jingle means to shake something, but it's usually metal and it makes a sound. What sound? Jingle, jingle, jingle. So to jingle something is to make that sound. And it's an engagement ring. So to get engaged means you promise to get married. So an engagement ring is that ring you give someone when you say, "Will you marry me?" And he's feeling pretty good, right? Bill saw Sally coming down the path towards him. He ran to her. He spun her around in his arms. So he picks her up and spun her around. Spun is past tense of spin. So they spin around. Sally squealed with delight. To squeal is to make a sound. Ee! Like a happy sound. She squealed with delight. And delight means happiness. So she's making this sound because she's happy. Bill settled Sally back down onto the park bench. He kneeled on one knee in front of her. So he settled her back down, meaning he was holding her when he spun her around. Now he put her down. To settle something down means put it down. Or put her down. So Bill says, "Sally," Bill said, "you are the most beautiful girl I've ever met. I love you and I want you to be my wife. Will you marry me?" Oh, so romantic. Sally laughed and said, "Yes, I will marry you." As Bill gazed lovingly at his bride-to-be, his eyes lingered on the red velvet ribbon Sally always wore around her neck. So Bill is gazing lovingly at her. To gaze means to look at someone for a long time, but in a nice way. In a bad way, we say to stare. To stare is like this. That doesn't feel very good, right? So he's not staring at her, he's gazing at her. And gazing at her, looking at her, lovingly, in a loving way. So, Sally. And his eyes lingered on the red velvet ribbon. Lingered means to stay there. So his eyes lingered on it, meaning he looked at it for a little while. On the red velvet ribbon. So velvet is a fabric that's really soft. And so she has a red velvet ribbon around her neck. And it's tied with a bow. A bow looks like a butterfly. And so it's the red velvet ribbon Sally always wore around her neck. Always. That's strange. Why does she wear a ribbon always, all the time? Well, we'll find out. Why do you always wear that red ribbon? Bill asked. Sally said, Bill, I must never take off my red ribbon. Bill smiled at Sally and left the ribbon alone. Oh, forget it. It's okay. Bill and Sally were married that June. Bill found a lovely little house in a nice neighborhood and they moved in. Bill bought Sally many party dresses, but Sally always wore her red ribbon with each outfit. Bill thought this was odd. So he bought her many party dresses, but it doesn't matter. Every outfit, she still has the red ribbon. Even if it doesn't match. So Bill thought this was odd. Odd is a word that means strange or weird. So let's see. Sally just smiled and said, I must never take off my red ribbon. After a few years, Sally found out she was going to have a baby. This news delighted Bill. Delighted can also be a verb, and to delight someone means make someone happy. So this news delighted Bill. So you could also say this news made Bill happy. Sally talked with her friends who had babies. Bill talked with his buddies who had children. They talked together late into the night about what they had learned from everyone. When the big day came, Sally said, Please tell the doctor I must not take off my red ribbon. The big day. We can use this to talk about any important day. Maybe it's a birthday, or an anniversary, or a holiday. Or here, it's when the baby is coming. So the big day. And even when the baby's coming, she says, I must not take off my red ribbon. Strange. Very odd. Bill was frustrated, but he promised Sally that he would tell the doctor. Frustrated means kind of annoyed, kind of angry. That kind of feeling. After the baby was born, Bill gave Sally flowers. Thank you for the flowers, Bill, Sally said. And thank you for telling the doctor I must not take off my red ribbon. Bill did not understand why the red ribbon was so important. Do you want to hold little Billy? Sally asked. So he's still not getting an answer. Very mysterious, right? I wonder why. Bill, Sally, and little Billy lived happily for many years in the small, lovely house in the nice neighborhood. When little Billy was a baby, he would sometimes reach for the red ribbon around his mother's neck. Sally would gently take his little hands in hers and coo at him, saying, Mommy must never, ever take off her red ribbon. So Sally would gently take his little hands in hers. To take someone's hands in yours just means to hold their hand. And she would coo at him. C-O-O, coo. And coo means to speak softly, say nice things, and it's the way you talk to a baby or maybe to a little pet. It's not a very common word, so don't worry. The red ribbon had frustrated Bill for a long time. He loved Sally with all of his heart, but did not understand her need to wear the red ribbon. I don't get it. I don't understand. So Bill's frustrated. After many years, Bill had an idea. Our anniversary is coming up. I will buy Sally a beautiful necklace. She will take off that old red ribbon so she can wear the beautiful necklace. So our anniversary is coming up. Anniversary. Anniversary is a word that means every year it's the celebration on one day. We don't use it for birthdays, but we use it for other things. So if there's something special that happened on one day, you celebrate that same day every year. And so here, Bill and Sally got married on one day, and then they celebrate it every year. Okay? So our anniversary is coming up, and he's going to buy Sally a beautiful necklace, which is jewelry you put around your neck. And so maybe she'll take off the ribbon to put on the necklace. Their anniversary came. Bill took Sally to a fancy restaurant overlooking Central Park. They had a delicious meal. Like we said before, Central Park is the big park in New York City. And this restaurant is overlooking Central Park. That means the restaurant is high up in a building looking down onto Central Park. So it's overlooking, meaning the restaurant is over it, looking down. Okay? Then Bill gave Sally a velvet box with a beautiful diamond necklace in it. She opened it, smiled, and tears came to her eyes. Bill put the necklace around her neck and started to take off the red ribbon. Is this the moment? Are we going to find out? So, he gave her a velvet box. Again, velvet is that really soft fabric, and it's the same fabric as her ribbon. And he put the necklace around her neck and started to take off the ribbon. Ooh, is this it? Sally stopped him. She said, "I must never take off my red ribbon." Bill sat back in his seat with a huff. He looked at Sally and shook his head. So he sat back in his seat with a huff. What is a huff? Well, it's the same as it sounds. Huff. It's that sound you sigh, frustrated. So he sat with a huff. He looked at Sally and shook his head. "I may never understand," said Bill, or Bill said. Sally gently placed the diamond necklace back in the velvet box and closed the lid. "It is lovely, Bill. I will treasure it always," she said. "But I must never take off my red ribbon." She says, "I will treasure it always." To treasure something is like to love it, to really care about something. You think it's really important, like it's treasure. So treasure, the verb, means to love or care about something. So Sally's saying she really loves the necklace and she'll care about it and love it forever, always. But she still is never going to take off her ribbon. Why? Bill asked, as he had for so many years. Sally smiled sadly and shook her head. She did not answer him. Late that night, Bill was still awake. I've loved Sally for more than 20 years, but she insists on wearing that horrible red ribbon around her neck. I think it's about time I found out why. So, she insists on wearing that horrible red ribbon. Insists means you say you really need to. You cannot say no. This has to be what you do. That's to insist on something. If I really, really want to eat pasta, maybe I will insist and say, we can't eat that, we can't eat that, we must eat pasta. So I insist. Kind of scary, right? So she insists on wearing that horrible red ribbon around her neck. So he hates that ribbon. He thinks it's horrible, it's terrible. So what is Bill gonna do? Right here. Bill got out of bed and walked around to Sally's side. Uh-oh. Bill carefully pinched the ends of the bow on the ribbon. He began to slowly pull on the ribbon. So this ribbon has a bow. A bow is like a butterfly. And there are two ends, and so he pinches them. To pinch is to go like this. Pinch. So both sides, he pinches the ends. And he starts to pull, to undo the ribbon. The bow became smaller and smaller. The loops of the bow pulled through, and only a half knot was left. So it's a ribbon with a bow, and the top of the bow is the loops and then the ends. So he's pulling the ends, the loops become smaller. And then the loops pulled through, so they come through the knot. A knot is when something is tied together, and only a half knot was left. A half knot means the two sides are wrapped together like that. So the bow is undone, and he's almost there. What's going to happen? Oh, so exciting. Bill slid his finger under the half knot and tugged. So he pulled at the ribbon. Zip! The red ribbon gave way. So the red ribbon opened up. It gave way. Pop! Sally's head came off. Pop! It rolled right to the floor, bouncing in the moonlight. One large tear fell from Sally's eye. I warned you! Oh my gosh. So, pop, Sally's head came off. He undid the ribbon and her head came off. It fell off and rolled to the floor. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And it bounced on the ground, bouncing in the moonlight. So the light from the moon is coming through the window and shining on her head as it rolls on the ground. Oh my God. One large tear fell from Sally's eye. Oh, I warned you. So, Bill took off the ribbon and her head flew clean right off and fell onto the ground. Oh my gosh, he really should not have touched that ribbon. So, that's our story, The Red Ribbon. Poor Bill, he was warned. She said, don't touch the ribbon. Please don't touch it. She told him for years and years and years, but Bill couldn't resist. He just had to try, and uh-oh, his wife's head fell off and rolled on the floor. What a ridiculous story. So I hope you enjoyed this little story and didn't think it was too scary, but a little bit spooky. Perfect for Halloween and having some fun along the way. So thank you everybody and happy Halloween. I hope you have a good fall and I'll see you next time. Goodbye everyone.